Yo, man. Welcome to the Barrel City Podcast, presented by Bibbidi Boop Productions. You know what we doing it, we making it happen. Yeah, it's your boy Hassan the Great. We bopping, rocking, locking, pop locking, chalking, and beating it up like soul rocking. You know what we doing. I'm so happy to be back. You know, this is gonna be a week. I'm gonna have to push it out, get it in, get it out. We're gonna be discussing a lot of things, especially we're gonna be going into a scripture today. We're gonna be covering Matthew 18:21 through 35. I repeat, chapter 18:21 through 35, Matthews. And we're gonna come through story time, talk about something funny. I gotta give it to you. All-Star weekend, Summer League, how I felt through just the finals. Who is my guy? Who ain't my guy? Bronny James. We're going to talk about him. And we got some USA basketball, the exhibition, 5-0 record. Should we be worried about they play? So, I got to get into it. I got to know. I got to figure these things out. I just came back from a little trip. Went out there to the Gump real quick. Shout out to my bro. Hey, I love you, boy. By the time you hear this, I love you. Stay safe out here. Y'all know what it is. Happily engaged. We married out here. We're going to be married out here. We're going to be blessed out here. It's good to see my people. We doing it. Black love, everything, man. But with that being said, we going into it. We're going into our scripture. It's good to see y'all. I love y'all. Welcome to the Barrel City Podcast presented by Bibbidi Boop Productions. Gosh darn it. I'm dying. Not yet. I love y'all. Let's go. Yeah. All right. So we got another one for you all. Scripture today. I want to cover a particular scripture today, which was Matthew's 18:21 through 35. I repeat, Matthew's 18 or chapter 18. Verses 21 through 35. And it reads in my translation that the parable of the unforgiving servant. Then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times, Jesus said to him. I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times. 7. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. And when he had begun to settle accounts, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. But as he was not able to pay, his master commanded that he be sold with his wife and children and all that he had, and the payment be made. The servant therefore fell down before him, saying, Master, have patience with me, and I will pay you all. Then the master of the servant was moved with compassion, released him, forgave him the debt. But the servant went out and found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii. And he laid hands on him, took him by the throat, saying, Pay me what you owe. So his fellow servant fell down at his feet and begun to him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay you all. And he would not, but went and threw him into prison, till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servant saw what had been done, they were very grieved and came towards their master. All that had been done, then his master, after he had called him, said to him, You wicked servant, I forgave you all the debt, because you begged me. Should you not also have had compassion on your fellow servant, just as I had pity on you? And his master, angry, and delivered him to the torturers until he should pay all that was due to him. So my heavenly Father also will do to you if each of you from his heart does not forgive his brother his trespasses. So, you know how we do this. We get that scripture, we break down a word, and we look at it from a different standpoint. So with that being said, we've read through that scripture, and This parable is about the unforgiving servant more than anything else. And we're going to get into that first verse, second verse. Then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Up to 7 times 7. Jesus said to him, do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. So we're breaking down that. So you already get my guy Peter. Peter like, hey, Jesus, how often should my brothers do me dirty? You know what I mean? By just moving weird, acting crazy, sinning against me, blasphemy, jealousy, all kind of junk. What should I do? And Jesus' response was, he said, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 70. So he's already telling him, like, it's not 7 times this dude do you dirty. You need to switch up or move around or have some type of beef with him. He's like, when I told you from the jump, it's 7 times 70. So that's how many times does somebody sit here and throw you off your game. You should feel like you have a response which is negative towards that person. Okay? And that's when you start having to handle somebody a certain kind of way. So he's already clarifying, this is where you get a situation where you're going to have to handle somebody a certain kind of way and you need to forgive them. So we're going down to verse 23. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. 24. And when he had begun to settle accounts, one was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. So he already got a guy. We look at this situation. Hey, he's a servant. This is how Jesus' analogy. Hey, I got a servant, and it's a king, and I got to settle some accounts. So selling accounts, even going into an analogy like accounting, or somebody that owes money at the register, right? Somebody that continuously be like, hey, I'm going to get you next time. I owe you. Get that identity, right? So you got the I owe you, and then you got somebody that's like, I got somebody that owe me some money, and he owe me about 10,000 K. We're just going to use that as the term, what it is. You owe me 10K. I need my 10K. But we're going to verse 25. But as he was not able to pay, his master commanded that he be sold with his wife, children, and all that he had, and that payment be made. So king already like, hey, bro, you ain't got my bread. You ain't got my dinero. You ain't got my pinon. You ain't got my pesos. You ain't got nothing. So you and your whole people gone. So that's G of somebody to keep it real with you. They're going to sell you and your people. You ain't just getting sold separately. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting a sold separately kind of situation. You get in a situation where he's like, all right, you going to have to give me my bread. You the man of this house. So you, your wife, your kids all getting sold so I can get my bread back. I need my 10K. So I'm about to send you over to them people on the other side of town, get my money. But as that goes down, the servant says, the servant therefore fell down before him, saying, Master, have patience with me, I will pay you. Verse 27. Then the master of the servant was moved with compassion, released him and forgave him his debt. So, oh boy, like, hey, you Gucci. Hey, you gave me a good argument. I forgive you. You ain't got to worry about that 10K. I ain't even need the 10K like that. I'm gonna let you hold on to that. You take care of your people. Your son got that little leg and a big leg. So I'm gonna bless you for what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let you go on about your situation. I forgive you. I ain't even gonna sell your people, sell y'all straight. So the servant good. He's great from all this what's going on right now. So then when you come down from there, and he goes to verse 28, but the servant went out and found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 denarii, and he had laid hands on him, took him by the throat, saying, pay me what you owe. So we gonna sit here and you already getting this right here. Bro ain't even probably got fresh out. He ain't got bind up. You know what's going on. He gets bind out. He think he about to be sold. It's a little, his talk game was Mason Cameron. He was getting through there. He was talking that talk. So he got that situation going. He get out of jail. Think of it like you just got out of jail. You think you about to have to do some extra time. You ain't even have to call your lawyer, but you just got yourself out of bond. The police like, hey, you Gucci. Just move how you move. Stay out the way. First thing he see, somebody owe me bread. So denarii. So we already said 100 denarii. So 100 denarii in my mind, he probably found bro for $100. Bro owe me a hundo. I just got behind up. You kind of the reason of many people I ain't let you hold some bread. So he like, all right. When he seen him, he like, he been ducking me. I need my paper. He seen him. Before he even see nothing, snuff him, lay down, bang bang, put the molly whoppies on him, right? Molly whopped him, kept it pushing, took him by his throat, choked him up real quick. He like, hey bro, gotta let you know how I'm feeling. And then look this man in his face. We're gonna add some analogies to it, and some imagery. Pay me what you owe. So he already like, these $100, I need my 100. So I'm gonna need you to break whatever in your pocket off. So verse 29, he don't know. So his fellow servant fell down at his feet and begged him, saying, have patience with me, and I will pay you all. So his other servant, other boy, he's sitting there choking up, beat down. He already been begging him, like, hey, bro, I ain't even got it. I ain't got the paper. I don't know what happened to it. I ain't got it. It's just not in my cards, buddy. It's not in my cards. I ain't got it. So just forgive me, bro. I ain't gonna be able to get it no time soon. So you go from there. And he says, and he would not, but went and threw him in prison till he should pay the debt. Okay, so he already took the little grace he got from the king man, went over, seen his homeboy, or dude that owed him bread. Old boy asked for the same forgiveness he asked the king folks, same thing going down the line. He like, nah, you going to jail, because I almost lost my family. Understandable, but at the same time, not understandable, because situations occur where you need to, we getting there, right? So he goes on with that. So when his fellow servants saw what had been done, they were very grieved and came and told their master all that had been done. So he didn't just snap and smack up and beat up no regular dude. He beat up a dude that people kind of bang with. He snapped and smacked up a dude that really didn't need to get smacked and beat up like he did. He kind of came out of pocket. His head wasn't tight. So he kind of moving a little out of emotion. We can understand that, because he almost lost his family. But then he also forgiving. He forgetting a little situation of his own. So he's already looking at this, in a bad situation. But he didn't know one of the homies that they both enslaved with, they all got the same master. One of them seen, okay, my homeboy just got, Mark and snatched up Tony. And Tony getting, he asked for forgiveness. He got smacked up, beat up in front of the street. And he asked for forgiveness. And then old boy went and called the popo, got him lifted up to prison, free little Tony. And everybody mad. They tell the master, or sad, mad, whatever's in between. And master finds out that all this is going on. So then we go on to 32. Then his master, after he had called him, said to him, you wicked servant, I forgave you all the debt because you begged me. So he's confronting Brody. Master's like, hey, I done heard from your homeboys, I heard from the other servants. You smacked up Tone up in jail, and I forgave you, and you owe me way more than he owe you. $100, you owe me $10K, bro. Where my $10K? He said, you out of pocket. You done got all this going on, you done popped off, did all this. And he called Brody up, and he's like, hey, bro, you tweaking. Like, he got in front of you tweaking, Brody. Like, your mind ain't on there. Like, $100 compared to my $10K, and I forgave you $10K, you couldn't forget $100. So he's like, all right, cool. 33. Should you not also have compassion on your fellow servant, just as I had pity on you? So he's already letting him know, bro, where's your empathy? Where's all that mentality at? Like, you don't know how close, like, what I could have really did to you? Then, 34. And his master was angry, delivered him to the torturers until he should pay all that was due to him. So he already let Brody know, all right, since you want to do all that, I'm about to call them people, Big Mike and Debo. We're going to get this situated. You going to get my money anyway, every way. You about to get done so dirty. He ain't even involved his family. He tortured this man individually because he knew this man was not leading with the right heart. So he had to go and adjust him on a personal level, in the sense, if you think you're above that over 100 for my 10K, you're going to work that 10K off you any way, shape, or form. I'm going to get my 10K. So finally, ending it off, 35. So my heavenly Father also will do to you if each of you from his heart does not forgive his brother his trespasses. So that's letting you know, Jesus, like, if you got anything in your heart, this analogy is letting you know, if you're going to deny somebody off what they did and what their sins is, and you try to sit there and play a little different game, I know how to move with you a little bit. I know how to get on you. I know how to shape you around. I'm going to have to jump on you real fast. So be careful how you moving, based on the fact that you perceiving that you got something different based on what you trying to compare your sins to or what you done to somebody. So that's just letting you know, hey, bro, don't think you getting too out of pocket. Forgive people for what they do. Forgive them for what they got going on. Because between you and God, you have done hella things, excuse my language, multiple things in situations where have been incurred in a situation which can now lead to a destructive pattern and could be very disrespectful to God. The perception that we have sometimes, we sometimes think our perception of what we have as a problem or what we have an indirect issue with the Most High does not seem to be that big of a deal. And then when we deal with other people who do us dirty, we want to act like it's a big deal. It's things where we did where we lied, cheated, stealing, cussing, robbing, all the things we did in the private, the dark of the night, it's the light on it. Jesus seen you. Your situation has been brought to the light. So you can't attack anything from a situation where you're not being very self-aware of your own wrongdoing. So sometimes we sit here, think we're doing so good, we're so amazing. I don't know, I did all this good. And then you look at somebody else and you try to throw some dirt on them. But you got to really look at your situation and realize, buddy, I'm not that good on what I need to be doing. I think I need to chill out. I think I need to check my temperature because I'm moving mad crazy and I'm not moving with the right head. And this is a situation where we're seeing somebody moving with their right head based on the emotion of what may have happened, but they own their own transgressions where they may bet the money away, smoke the money away, do whatever he did to get 10K racked up. Just the analogy of the money. We don't know exactly the metrics, and I'm not looking to look for the metrics. I'm just going to use an analogy for y'all because it don't matter. So I'm just saying, the whole epitome of what we're going to do as people, as humans, as brothers and sisters in all forms, we have to look at things from a point of view that you're not going to always be the person that's always in the right, and you're not always the person that's going to be in the right in a situation when they're even wrong. You got to let God handle that. The judge and jury is the only person who actually differentiates where our sins are. So as soon as we start thinking our sins is not too big or we're not this or that, that's when we end up falling into a pit of our own destruction. So we're sitting here and I want to make sure people understand, take that situation, acknowledge your faults, and then move forward with a respective consistency of acknowledging your own hang-ups, but also understanding that the hang-ups of others can all occur from a situation where you're not being very consistent, aware, or even being acknowledged in your own heat, so you're not acknowledging your own sins, and then you go to acknowledge somebody else's sins, and you know different than them. You just got a different shape on what you got going on, and that's not gonna make you no different than nobody. We all the same sinners. We all not perfect. We all got situations where we can do better and treat each other better. So just move in that way in which you are acknowledging how to be the best version of yourself and the best version of acknowledging who you need to be. So I want to end this into a way of a quote. I always try to get this going with us. I have this quote says, misuse time, expectations is going to be there forever, expecting it's going to be forever. So we misuse time, expecting it's going to be forever. We miss each other with similar mindsets. We also go on to the end of connecting one another, but the thoughts while thinking through a solid wall can always change without a sense of looking at the other side. So with that quote, it's kind of like to narrow it in, and it's kind of a jumbled up, Indian proverb that I heard somebody give to me. And it's just to say that sometimes we could look at a surface and our expectation of what can be forever will dwindle. Because eventually, just like the road, as I'm going to remix it myself, just like the road, it eventually breaks down. So you got to understand the expectations of what you see on somebody or what you admire or what you see with the time that's going on is going to wear on them. It's going to change with them. You're going to see things where this person is not going to be the same person as what you thought you're going to be encountering. So you got to sometimes observe that through timing, the things that we may not be able to change for somebody or change about somebody will eventually break down, or the things that we love about somebody will eventually break down. And we cannot misuse the time that we have with people, because eventually these people are not going to be here anymore. And not everything is forever. So you got to look at those things from so many different perspectives. The perspective of people being, who wronged you from early on in your life. You got to be able to extend them grace and understand that that person can change. You can look at a situation where somebody was so good and so positive to you that can change and become that person that's so negative and so heart-wrenchingly difficult to deal with. And then the final perspective that I grab from that proverb, which, like I said, is kind of jumbled up, it's that the situation of the thing of forever isn't really realistic, because when you really look at the time that we have, it's not really there all the time. It's not that we don't have that much of a window to really hold on to negativity or hold on to a expectation that isn't realistic. So we just got to keep extending each other grace and believe in one another, regardless of what we believe about the situation of where that person may have misled us with their own spirit, and still love them for who they are, regardless of what we feel. So that's my scripture. I wanted to give that into a input. And we're going to go into story time. I feel like being spicy. After church, great quote, great energy. But I just want to make people laugh this time before I get into a more different genre of things. So, alrighty. Talk to y'all. We about to get into it. Yeet. Okay. We're going to story time. I can't even cap. This is something where I seen and got a little feel on of what was going on, So I wanted to go into a story time about this girl I was dating who proficiently was, somebody I seen so much in a future with, and you know how I be, I caught up in my feels if Ariana Grande was singing it, you know what I'm saying? So we're hanging out, we've been having a good time, me and her were, seeing each other for a time, and you wouldn't believe in this story time, as I'm sitting here acknowledging that I was sitting back talking to the homie, we out here vibing, and we just talking about all the different things, the wild stuff. And I had watched this video on Instagram where, it's like, I don't know if you've seen the little skit where it's a couple skits and came up, but I've seen people with so many different twists on it, where this guy was actually, he went to his girlfriend's house. He goes in the room, her sister's there, and he like, hey, where's so-and-so? And she's like, oh, she ain't here, but you can chill. And he chilled and shit. And then the sister was like pushing up on him and, woo woo, and had him feeling some kind of way. And she was talking to him. She's like, yeah, babe, we could do the, woo, woo, woo. My sister ain't gonna be back for no hours, so we can woo up the bang, shout out to my peoples. We can woo out the bang and shit. That's what, she got him with. So he all wooed and everything. He's like feeling it, and like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like every video, I can't do that. So, long story, make it short to the video. He ends up in the car. His girlfriend sees him. The thing is, she's like, there was a test, blase, you passed, or the daddy came and he's like, oh, you passed, or somebody comes through, they always say you passed, and they like, you're a good person. But low key, he always either he going to the car, or he's coming back in the house, or he doing some kind of stuff to where everybody's like so happy for him. But at the end of the day, the nigga grabbing some rubbers. For this situation, for me, I was sitting there, I pulled up like I usually do, slide up in the hood real quick, pulled up, skirt, we supposed to be going somewhere. Some little gig I had going on, because we make motion out here, you dig? So, I keep it moving, we kept it pushing. I pull up, I'm parked right in front of their crib and shit. So I pull up, I'm waiting, I'm like, hey, I'm outside, ooh, let me know. She like, I'll let you know. She said, I'm got some couple things I gotta get done though. I'll let you know a little bit. I was like, cool. So I sat there, cool, trying to get my shit together, got my clothes straight, all that shit, because, You know, I be riding and shit, but sometimes nigga don't want to put no AC on. So a nigga be riding, sometimes nigga get a little sweaty, you know, nigga, you know, I try to keep it play, keep it cute, but nigga just, I don't be want to burn that AC, you know. Po nigga, you know, it is what it is. Nigga ain't trying to burn no AC. Cause you know that burn that gas. I feel like in my mind that burn that gas a little more. So maybe tripping. Maybe they make it last longer. I don't know. But all I know is I pulled up, hopped out the car, I'm moving around, getting myself together. I look off the patio. I look, little sis is outside. She pull up outside and she dressing something tight. I was like, first thing I seen something tight, and I was like, oh shit. And she pull up, no glasses, like you know, these people blind. So I I pulled up, I'm like, whoa, okay. I was looking crazy. I said, okay, she don't usually look like this. So something ain't my antennas was antennaing. I felt my boop, 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 boop. Something was like, I don't know. But I look, yeah, hey, how you doing? Hey, she was extra vocal. Okay, cool. Nice to see you. She had a trash bag. She said, but she was wearing like a dress skirt thing. So she was about to climb over this little like curve shit. For me, I was kind of throw the fuck off. I was like, nah, you good. Cause I was like, I ain't even gonna let you just, you know, you might be going somewhere nice. I don't want your clothes get dirty and shit. I was like, don't even worry about it. I just take the trash. She said, oh, you do that? I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. You know, I ain't thinking about it that deep. I'm like, let me just grab a little bag, boom, boom, boom. I throw the bag in there. She said, oh, thank you. She tried to give a little extra conversation. Yeah, woo, woo. Yeah, when your sister come out, yeah. But I hope you have a nice time. Nice dress. I'm glad your sister helped you pick it out. You know, woo, woo. Goodbye. She goes aside. She about to go on about her little situation. I'm like, all right, different. Don't know what's going on. But I could smell something in that Kool-Aid was not mixing in my mind right. So I go, you know, and I ain't gonna lie. She pulls up like her sister comes out like maybe like after she comes in, comes back around, she probably comes back around like couldn't been like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Like literally as she comes in, it's like she's coming around the corner. So I ain't thinking about that deep. Reason this story time came from my mind. Cause I'm like, all right, cool. She, you know, that happens, you know, people do this, that. But then I thought about it through the video. I said, wait a minute. Cause you know, I'm a person that uses my instincts. My instincts told me something was not lining up. And it just stayed in my back of my mind. Cause she was it was a level not like flirtatious. It was just a level of like the fact of how we talked. And then also in the fact that like me and her had similarities in the sense like both the sisters were quite different, but her younger sister, we all have the same kind of interest in the sense of like certain things and certain media, you know, like anime and different movies and different things. And, you know, I ain't gonna lie. Shorty had a little more of a jealousy phase that was kind of like she had a mindset to it. Like she was a consistent chess player. Like she knew the game for real, for real. Like I peeped how she was moving for real. Like I understood what situations were coming together in my mind. And I'm like, yeah, I know something ain't right. So I might need to look at this from a different point of view. But years later, I'm sitting back and I'm like, I sitting there talking to my homeboy after I seen the video, and I'm like, bro, she tried to set me up. And people call me crazy for all you know, but I knew the fact of how her thought process was that we had so much in common and so much similarities that she was gonna find a way in which it was like, you know, and they wasn't too far from age. Like they were like maybe 2, 3 years. So it was not like oh nigga, you tweaking. It was like a moment where like, nigga, yeah, like rice trap, all the sticky shit. Nigga, not the cheese, nigga, where your head gets snapped. Is that you get a little glue on your tail and you like, bitch, I did catch you, but you got some glue on you, so that's how I know you were fucking up. Nah, I ain't move like that. I ain't my mentality. I ain't never moved like that. I think that's an inward level of griminess that takes a certain level of dog that your paws already got a little dirt on. I ain't trying to be mad at you. There's some junkyard dogs. Everybody need a little junkyard dog, a little dog, you know, in the yard. He's sitting in the chain, water might got some dirt around it, food got some flies on it. You know, we need them kind of dogs. Them kind of men is still the ones that get certain things done without, you know, they ain't too pretty, you know. I'm not no street dog. I ain't out there in no mud. But I do got a little dirt on a little bit of my fur. I ain't gonna pat. We gonna keep it G breezy. Like we gonna keep it a buck. I have some dirt on the fur. I have come inside. I'm kind of like Spike from All Dogs Go to Heaven 1 and 2. I got the mentality where I'm looking how to get on easy street and get back in the crib, give me a little John. You gotta keep it easy out here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, okay, let me kind of watch how that situation went. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, when I thought about even the way she looked and how she was dressed and everything else, she was an exact representation of her sister, which we're not going to sit there and go into that whole story and how that even draws to why that person is not a continuous character in the arc, in this arc of Hasani the Great arc. This arc, I'm more in Joy Tale at this point, so we got to keep it really pushing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I had to make sure I had to keep that, put that out there, fellas. Don't do no grimy shit like that. If you already got some dirt in your posh, you want them dogs, you ain't no spite, you ain't no inside outside dog, you just an outside dog, you do what you do. But if you got somebody, your spirit you a little heavy, you gonna keep your mind straight. You see possibility in somebody and you see you about to get booby trapped, don't go for the booby bache. You know what I'm saying? The booby bache, I ain't saying booby boucher, I'm saying the boucher. That bullshit that can get you fucked up. Cause that's how you can lay around and get dead down. You know what I'm saying? Don't do nothing too wild. Don't do nothing that these niggas be trying to tell you they doing. There's a lot of dead bodies in the graveyard over women. We gonna keep it P. Niggas wanna act tough and all that. Nah, bro. It's down to time. Charcuterie board has put you in the full Nelson and has cost a lot of t-shirts and tombstones. I'm gonna make that a shirt. It's a lot of t-shirts and tombstones dealing with women. And especially in situations when you think you're gonna dibble and move like you moving. Like I said from the beginning with God, you don't want to play when he already know how you gonna lay. He gonna catch you with your head laying down. That's every way you gonna get it. So, yeah, what a got. Seen the play, seen the situation. And that's why I addressed everything what it was and what it had to be. So you just look at that and understand, hey, it could you be me and it could be you. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to put that story out there, get everybody a good little laugh, a little giggle, cause hey, I knew someone was smelling right. I looked at it, I was like, nah, I can't go for that. But I had not seen it in that time being, but later on, yeah, touche, shorty, touche. Good luck on that one. It ain't gonna be me though. All right, we're gonna be going on to the next topic, or actually, next topic after the break. So y'all go on to my new local sponsor, which I don't have a local sponsor, but I'm looking to get a new sponsor. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get one. Y'all let me see if somebody come through, get a little sponsor. When I get the sponsor, that's when the bread gonna come. Hey, I'm telling you, don't let the people come get me. Hey, I'm telling you, when they come get me, don't be talking about you ain't around no more. Hey, y'all wasn't there. Y'all weren't with me when we were shooting in the gym. And then after the ad, we're gonna be talking about WNBA All-Star Weekend. So after this. Let's get it. You know what it is, man. You're looking for exposure. You want a shout out. That's going from your music, anything, your page, mostly businesses, things that you got going on. Look no further here, man. Barrel City Podcast. We got deals, big things about anything coming to advertisement. We advertise your show on the pod. Advertise anything you got going on. Hit me up. Our page today on Barrel City Podcast on IG and TikTok. Transform your business. Embrace the season of change. Y'all want something different? Come here. We're going to make it happen. If you're looking for particular people, you want to put people on, you want to have somebody in front of the camera, you want to have opportunity, hit us up. You know what it is. Barrel City Podcast. You know what it is. Let's go. Yes, indeed. I'm back from that ad. Y'all know what it is, man. I got to come up and talk about that WNBA All-Star game and that whole weekend. The weekend was bumping. I ain't gonna lie. I was vibing with it. The ladies was giving me 03, 04 energy, camcorder, looking good, moving good, laughing at Caitlin Clark wearing a Givenchy, whatever she was wearing. She out here wiping movie theater butt on her pants and stuff. That's how you know she ain't got to a point where she ain't the farmer's daughter no more. She around here. She getting pedicures, manicures. She living good. Them pockets is on rev run right now. She is not struggling for no dinero. Her coins is coining. You hear him hitting the piggy bank. Queen, queen. So that All-Star weekend, really good. It's really enjoyable. Leading, they always start the All-Star to lead into a break to, USA basketball. It's always good when they get into USA basketball, getting into the Olympics, it kind of breaks up that season. A lot of those women are kind of get a good break. A lot of them that, get that chemistry going for the Team USA team, 3X team, what they got, that's going to look really good. So, we got to see them playing against the All-Stars team, 3X team. We got to see Haley Van Land, who's a notable, hopefully our TCU season goes good next year. She'll be a notable first round draft pick. So it's gonna look good. We got some expansion teams coming in next year too, so it's gonna definitely. I think they're coming in next year. They should be coming in soon, but it's gonna fatten up the league a little bit. We're gonna get the league fattened up a little bit, especially for this, especially at this great Olympic season coming soon. So with that being said, we also look at the skills challenge. Well, I'm gonna go off the skills challenge. Skills challenge was won by Alicia Gray. History was made today or that weekend, which 2024 All-Star Weekend in Phoenix. She ended up she plays for the Atlanta Dream, excuse me. She became the first player to win the skills challenge and 3-point contest. So this weekend she wasn't playing. She had a great time. Just I could tell she, the lightness she has on how she hoop is wonderful. She had also 16 points in the All-Star game. She really was hooping. Like, she had to go through Jacqueline Jones, who, like, I ain't no shorty be really bopping with them threes, but she really good with them threes. Like, she put the ball in the basket. Like, she really showed a lot of like talent that I didn't think I'm not saying she didn't have it. I'm just like, she a hooper. Like, she a hooper. So that was just great to watch, watching her make history. I thought somebody else, I swear it was like Tarasi and somebody else had made it happen, but the internet, based on the sources of ESPN, told me, yeah, she's the first one to ever do it. So congratulations to her. Her overall, just the skill and how she played, and just the level of just the confidence and how she played was spectacular. It was great to watch. And leading that, it led us into the All-Star game, which, the first half, everybody out here hooping, Team USA women's goes against Team USA, not Team USA. It's Team USA women's goes against Team WNBA. And that allowed a lot of those stars, those younger, the rookies, that this great class, the mark my words, it's the silver class, it's the Magic and the Larry Bird era. We got to see Caitlin Clark, and we got to see Angel Reese, we got to see Arika. We got to look at their different skills. I ain't talking about your rookie, but just looking at these different skills and looking at the different rookies hooping, and they're going against Team USA. And from last time the Olympics came up, Team USA lost to Team WNBA, and this time again, Team USA versus Team WNBA. Team WNBA had won 117 to 109, beating them. And pretty much the top rookies pretty much showed they harm parts off, especially Angel Reese. Angel Reese came out here, had a double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds in 18 minutes. So you looking at that, she like, oh, okay, that light work. Nah, 18 minutes, she sat there, got the word. banged up in that post and really be banging with people. People don't be understanding. She be banging with people in that post. Like, everybody like to crack all them jokes, but she from this year to coming into, or this previous season coming out of LSU into, playing for Chicago, I feel like she's so much more dominant. She bangs with these grown women. Like, last year I seen her kind of get banged around, and, it could kind of like she was not going to make it in this post, like how her game was so dominant in. And she's transcended in this role of now, consuming and being such a great forward. It's such a beautiful thing. And then also, can't leave out Caitlin Clark had 4 points, 10 assists for 26 minutes. But those assists looked amazing. She was putting the ball in beautiful places. She got that 3 off. She was able to, like, sit there and shoot free throws and look very proficient in the offense, and the system just moved around her so well. Not even disregarding the fact that Team USA also had their top providers, Brianna Stewart and Asia Wilson. They combined for 53 of the points of Team USA's points, and that's all sourced from WNBA and their page. So, that was something that was crazy to me as well, because they was hooping. That they look like they're ready. Taurasi still trying to get a hang of it. I think she's on her last year. I think it's her last year. I think she's pretty much retiring. So, that's why they have Cloud. And then looking at, Kelsey Plum trying to get her rhythm, also, most of the women on this team for Team USA, they're trying to get ready for the Olympics. So it's kind of in a way like, the ball's changing, the style's going a different kind of way. These things are kind of being adjusted personally for them. And, that transition and just going from now, you're passing somebody that you literally just seen 2 days ago who was trying to stop you from scoring, and now that's your teammate. So that got to be the hardest thing to kind of like switch so quick in the middle of a season, which, take your hats off to the WNBA and their contribution. I feel like it's kind of uncomfortable situation. I feel like it should happen at a later time. They should start a lot later, and this wouldn't be a problem. But I don't know. I think they just don't want to compete with certain people, as we know. But through that situation, the WNBA All-Star MVP was Arika Ungbawi. I know I'm fucking it up. Excuse me. I do apologize. She had an All-Star game record for 34 points in the second half. Saw her claim her second All-Star MVP in what was arguably the best All-Star game in history based on competitiveness. And this was all just the sources of which everybody has seen it and acknowledged. Like, she was cold. New York Times wasn't tripping when they wrote about this. She was snapping. She couldn't miss nothing. She was putting that ball over. She was looking like Mike. She was out there. You don't forget Shayna Carter, Shiny Carter, my fault. How she was hooping, but you see why she was MVP. She really just like, she carried that team over the hump. And I guarantee next time Team USA, if she's still in the league, and I think in the next 4 years, I think she definitely is going to be in the league. I think this year she was a snub for Team USA. Do I think Taurasi should have lost a spot on the team? No. But somebody needed to lose their spot. It wasn't Caitlin Clark, though. Caitlin Clark was not snubbed, everybody. She was not snubbed. She had 10 assists against Team USA. Okay? 9 points. Assists. 9 points. Assists. Yes, she might have made a great contribution off the bench. We could also say we're going to take off Taurasi. But we're not going to sit here. If Kobe had the opportunity to play his last All-Star, just like LeBron's playing his last, not All-Star, last USA basketball opportunity, and Kobe was still here and Kobe was still playing, we would not be sitting here talking about Kobe in that kind of way. So we're not going to do Taurasi in that way. And I think, just congratulations to the young ladies, and also look at the opportunity of just how great these women are performing and just like they said, this is probably based on the most competitive game, where it wasn't just somebody over here just throwing the ball up. Like this game was very interesting and it was very, breathtaking. So with that being said, Team USA, I'm excited to see them. They got their first win against Germany. They beat the snot out of Germany. So they got over that loss pretty quick. I'm gonna go over to Summer League. Most of my sources are coming from ESPN, Yahoo Sports, so definitely check all this out. So the Summer League final was Monday, and it was Miami going against Memphis. It was a close game, decided in the final seconds of the fourth quarter by a game-winning drive to the basket by the guard by P. Larson of the Miami Heat. So Larson played, I think he played out west, if I remember. Cole Hooper, he started doing great in the last bit of the summer league. Started getting his stuff. He was picking up everything. His style started to get in there. You can see the transition for him. But just the overall game, just a great game. Like Memphis playing without Edie is kind of probably the one thing that's kind of like different. I can tell you that right now. Like Edie being there is kind of like allows them to slow down and kind of work that middle. Kind of like in a sense, like it's good to have like not just Jokic. Jokic can run that court, but you think about like Towns and you looking at the level of how Rudy Gobert, just having them being able to him to move around like he needs to. It gives them so much versatility. So I feel like Edie gives them that versatility. Slow the game down, bang it up if you need to kind of get people kind of to slow down and, get some people ready to be in rotation. So it was good to see that they just could speed through without Edie, but also when they needed Edie in that sense of that drive coming in from Lars, it was kind of like, it just like that whole situation, like looking at it and just kind of acknowledging that, you know, his play and how much it changes. But then also when we're looking at this situation, we see that the second year guy, the forward Gigi Jackson, the second, his play was phenomenal. Last year he came in, he also played on Chris Paul camp. So he kind of has a familiarity with the sense of just being like a real like dominating guy and just being able to just handle situations and just being an attacking forward. His shooting was amazing. Then don't forget the veteran guards, Scottie Pippen Jr. and Jake Lavier. Either way, they just looked good. It messed up Jake's name, but they gave me too many names. And I was like, oh my goodness, the names I'm killing some names. I'm gonna tell you that right. I'm gonna get them right. If they do what I think they're gonna do, Memphis do what they're gonna do with the way they played, with the talent they got, I can see them being, I know these names. These names I will have embedded in my tone I guarantee by the end of the season. So y'all be with me on that one. So they carry most of the load offensively. Those three guys carry most of that load, and it showed. It showed, and that kind of was the reason why they kind of was lagging along. Looking at, Miami, they collectively carried their load defensively, offensively, from turnovers to jump shots to rebounds. They were a very strong key component team. They did a lot of great work, working and looking at the situations, acknowledging how much needs to be performed by everybody, just seeing how much this team has been like a huge like lift and just adjusting this level of play to then be able to step up against like so many different teams and just adjusting their expectations, but also acknowledging how much work they need to put in and just know about how the game needs to be, get those small increments of work and help and nevertheless it came out to be good. And it also helps when you got the guard Christopher. He ended up being the summer league game MVP. He played phenomenal for us. He put up 9 for 17 shooting, quite decent, but the performance majority was being shot from the three. He had 6 of them exactly, so he pretty much was like he was banging on threes, and that, at the end of the day, even if your shot proficiency is that low, 6 out of 9 of his shots being pretty much threes really made up a very strong stat for him. And I felt like with that being his big contribution to our team, it allowed Miami to kind of move forward and get on to the next steps and, eventually get them further enough because, like I said, P. Larson, he had a great game. Also, our rookie Ware had an amazing game. Collectively, everybody just carried they load. I think it was compared to them, they had 3 people that carried most of the load. We had about 5. So you know how it is, the numbers game. Eventually somebody could put up that final point that then could take them over the edge, and that's what happened. So that was a great contribution of just like a great game to end Summer League, a very competitive game ending in a few seconds, and which led to Miami being the Summer League champions. So I'm going to touch in, if I'm going to talk about Summer League, I brought up one man, and one man that definitely needs to be brought up again is Bronny James. If overall Summer League and Cal experience, his California classic stats was 3.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists in 2 games. So he gave, those 2 games, he looked like, that first game he was a little shaky, he was still getting rhythm. He was running that 2. He was getting an idea of where he wanted to be, how he going to play. He ran a lot of defense. He wasn't scared to play defense. And he made a lot of gambles. He made a lot of different mistakes. A lot of people were like, why are you taking these kind of gambles? And why are you taking these kind of mistakes? He's playing like a second-round draft pick. All right? He didn't play safe. All right? He didn't play safe. He didn't play like he knew that he can, he played like somebody that could get cut. Even if we're like, oh, LeBron would never let him get cut. He played like somebody that was supposed to get cut. All right. He played real hard. He played like somebody that they told you if I see you, come to my office, and he knew he about to get cut. He played hard knocks basketball, and it showed. But thank goodness we got out there, Las Vegas Summer League. He averaged 8.8 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist for 4 games. That overall made him look better. He played better. He ran from a little bit of that 2 to that point, which then led to him having those last 2 games, which he combined for 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, which he showed a lot of great scoring. He made a lot of good moves. I think overall, a lot of people don't realize is Bronny James is opening up, and he's doing a lot of things that are like glue plays. Like Drew Holiday stat sheet is a lot of glue plays. Marcus Smart pieces are all glue plays. Looking at, it's another guy I want to look at for the fact of just doing glue plays, but it's going to come to me. I think it's so many different people that have those intangibles of, being a scorer, or you can maybe, pick up a rebound, but it's very few people that can go and do those, grit and grind plays, those, oh, I need this, I need to get this, I need to get that, dive on the floor, fight for the ball plays, those I need to get it, I ain't no other way I can get it, if I don't get it, I ain't eating. He who been like, I ain't gonna eat if I don't get it. Like he's starving. And that's the mentality that Bronny plays with, that he's starving, and him now effectively, getting into a position of scoring, he gets to this point of now being so much more free and not being handcuffed, that he can actually hoop and be more comfortable with himself, and actually can go so much further and get an opportunity of just growing his skill and just taking things to a situation where he can actually be a better performer, and most importantly, a better teammate and a glue piece, which can also help the Lakers win a championship. So what I've seen is he's just gonna be that guy who can eventually, he's gonna be a 25. He could be a 24 or 25 point guy. I'm not seeing him being no 30 guy, no 40 guy, no 50 guy. I'm seeing he's gonna have a crazy stat sheet like he has here. He's gonna average an 8 rebound, 6 assist game, or he's gonna have 3 steals, 1 block. Like, he's just one of those guys that can really hoop and handle himself at a very high level. So I wanted to dabble from that, talking about Bronny James and just going from his level of play and what we expected from him and what the expectation should be. And I just wanted to go into the identity of the Summer League MVP, Jalen Wilson. Wanted to acknowledge him because, buddy out here hooping phenomenal for his squad at this very moment. Like, pretty much a second-year guy coming in for Brooklyn. And overall, he's finished with 21.8 points, 4.6 rebounds, while shooting an efficiency of 47% from the field and 55% from three-point land. So with him coming into, his own, because he ain't got no buddies. He's pretty much going to be all by himself. He's going to have a situation where he's going to have to figure out what he's going to do. And he's going to have to see if he's going to be able to get that particular game opener for him to actually get in that lineup. Because since now Markelle Bridges is gone, he's going to be being put in the forefront of actually being a serious piece for them to actually win. So I don't know. I think that's something where with him scoring in Summer League, it's all about that efficiency a lot of people talk about. And his shooting is something that is really good. And he's a really good rebounder for him to be a second-year guard. He's a guard forward, in my opinion. So he's going to have a great start of the season if he's used right. I think based on their coach, he's a very guard-focused coach. So if he's able to fit in that rotation, put in the situations he needs to be put in, and can actually, be around Cam and be a real guy that can open up that floor for them, I think sky's the limit. And I think some pieces will be moved around. I think Brooklyn, hopefully they'll end up in lottery, but I think Brooklyn can still probably pop up being that 10 to 15 spot next year. So especially how the East is starting to look in its current space. So I wanted to also talk about the possible key contributors in this season, these rookies, these guys who, are coming in. And I wanted to, bring up some guys that I seen, talk about some stats, talk about what I had knowledge about them. And then I'm going to also talk about some strugglers, you know what I'm saying? Some people that's still trying to find their way, you know what I'm saying? So possible key contributors for this season is Rob Dillingham. I seen Brody hoop. I told people Rob Dillingham going to Minnesota was nasty work. He gonna be around Mike Conley for one. Anthony Edwards is a dog, just a pit bull raised in an environment where he's getting love, but on the weekends they take him to the woods and he hunts bears. Like, he's a beast. He's a monster. I think him and Rob together is going to be a very strong duo for them, especially moving that ball and just getting a bucket. He is a bucket getter. Looking at the fact that he's a bucket getter and he can move the rock. He sat there, he dominated Orlando, amassed 25 points, 12 assists on an efficiency of 11 for 18 shooting. Listen, when he went out to Kentucky, I'm going to tell people this. When he went out to Kentucky, I was like, I seen him, I think it was McDonald's or something else I seen him in, and he was carrying the team. And he was dropping threes like it wasn't nobody's business. When I seen him with the Kentucky, I was like, that was a bad decision. Because I knew that white boy was out there. Nothing wrong with him. He's a great shooter. But I felt like Calipari has become an outdated, coach in this current climate. The climate of COVID and, the possibility you playing a team of 32-year-olds. I'm joking. Guys who, could be about 25, 26, NBA veterans. If you win NBA right now, Luka, I think Luka young than 26. Who else? There's a lot of young people, a lot of vets in the NBA who are, you know, established, and then you got old dudes in NCAA, but that's another story. And I felt like Calipari, couldn't figure those things out, and I think he couldn't put this team together to effectively make them a team that could really extend their weight into the tournament. And I felt like Rob Dillingham didn't get used properly, and I feel like now, since he's going to Minnesota, I think him being in that system, being under Mike Conley, I don't think he should be starting. I think he should come off the bench. I think he should get used to, establishing his own tempo. And then when he gets out there with the big boys, and I think him running with Ant and Towns and Gobert, he is about to look like a abomination. I'm looking at rookie of the year quality skills. So that's one of my guys. Also, gotta get a Pele Larson. He had that game winner, but I think he's one of the best things that probably established him was he embraced his defensive role early on, even before his shots were getting, because his shots were struggling. He wasn't really getting where he wanted to go. He wasn't able to get the things that he wanted to go for. His shots weren't really falling, but his defense was consistent. And in the Miami Heat, the organization is all about playing and putting the situation where they can actually contribute to actually a strong team and having a very positive outlook of just working together. So I feel like, with him embracing that defensive role in the end, he'll guard anybody on the floor. He's a basket getter he's a basket stopper. He gonna make sure you ain't getting all them shots that you think you're gonna get. But as I said, struggling and getting his confidence back in there and attacking the paint, he plays for himself and he plays for a situation for his team, and he's a go-getter. So he's going to continue to grow. As long as his confidence grows, I think he's going to be a prospect for us to, in the sense, it's not even just to say he's going to find just a role. I think he's going to be another guy who's going to probably be a really good hooper next to Hawkes Jr., who, is a great, Jimmy Butler type player. And I think we've gotten younger with him. So we're going to definitely see if he can make the team, next to Christopher. Hopefully we get Christopher to, develop a young team and somebody that, a team that can actually, establish ourselves and grow. And hopefully, still could contend for the playoffs, especially still having Jimmy Butler, as long as we may have him, because, he still got some contract left. And he may need to, restructure, but that's a different story. Also, Stephon Castle, the guard from San Antonio, the number 4 overall pick. Like they say, 19 years old. Brody is 6'6", 215. He able to use his big frame to play physical on both ends. Castle is a very shaky shooter in certain aspects, but when it comes to him getting to that basket, I think it's just something that you can't change, and he's really good at getting that jumper going. He struggled early on with his jumper. He's 4 of 16 from the 3 in the summer league, but I think he's got a lot more he brings to the table. He's a great defender. And I think, other than the fact that he's just a great downhill driver, he's a guy that you can count on for contested rebound on 50-50 balls too. So at the same time, even if Wemby ain't getting it, he might get it. He's really a really strong, big forward, 2-guard forward. He has the ability to kind of play two ends of the ball in a way and actually help them, flex. And with him growing his jump shot and that coming through the season and then coming in the next season, he has a possibility to have a great upside. I think he's going to make a great connection, a great piece for Wamba Wamba, Victor Wembanyama, and you got to also look at the fact that he did, show out for his 22, he had a 22-point performance against Portland. A lot of people saying he looks like a calm down John Morant, which I don't know where that came from. I don't know about all that. I know he's a really good prospect. I think he's going to grow well right next to Victor overall. But with that being said, I think he just has a lot of things that he can contribute to the game for them. And I think he's somebody that, with Chris Paul being in a level of mentorship, being on his Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, I think he can really bring a lot more to the team that they may not have. You got Donovan Klingon from the center from UConn. We're gonna talk about his other UConn buddy. That's where we just came from. Drafted by Portland Trailblazers. Klingon defense looked as good as advertised at UConn. Pretty much in Vegas, he was qualified as probably the top. He was the top on blocks. He had 4.2 blocks. He had 12.3 rebounds per game and 12.3 rebounds a game. He was a stunning to see him. Pretty much, he's a big solid block. He can handle everything in that top space. He can guard out there to the island on that three. And, Adam Sarr tried to roll and move and do all that. Nah, he had that boy, all that. They talked about how Sarr looked. He showed out. He did what he was supposed to do. And he looked great on defense. He needs more work on his polishing up his offense, getting that post, being a face up, whatever he's gonna do. I think that's just gonna come over time. I think right now that size and just that dominance in that middle of just being able to make the post work. He already got old boy from the Bahamas, so he don't really need the guy to play for the Suns. He don't really need to be an offensive threat yet, but he can grow to be that over time. So I think he's a big need for them to kind of get him more weight and more balance where they can battle with those bigs out there in the West, the Anthony Davis, the Jokic, the Gobert, the County Towns. Who else I'm missing? I know I'm missing somebody else. He's just gonna be able to battle. Embiid when they get out to the East. I think he's just gonna be able to battle in the West and the East. The bigger, like they say, the bigger you are, the better you can fight. So I think that's gonna be their biggest contribution. Kelly Ware, the center from Miami. I didn't touch too much on him. I like the way he hoop. I like the way he stands up and he can actually move. He has a physical presence. He can move on the floor quick. He hammers dunks great. He's a legitimate rim protector. I think he's gonna do great for us out there. For us for a long term, helping Bam Adebayo. The biggest thing that I seen is when I seen him doing plays, it didn't look like he was what I'm say. I don't want to say not motivated. I feel like sometimes he shuffles his feet. Best way to describe it. He shuffles his feet. He's not really attacking. He's not you know what I'm saying? He don't have that. He trying to get at you. He got that real the game is he coming into the game. Not like he is the game. He's coming into the game. So you could tell he's kind of like somebody that's growing and getting his skill level up, and he's fighting. And I think just overall just kind of makes him look even better. I think he just needs to get more confidence. I think being in Miami is either going to make or break him, personally. I feel like we're going to get that motor out of him, or he's going to hightail it out of there. I think Miami's the hardest team, just off our practice and how we hoop and how our mentality is and how our organization works. It can be sometimes a little much for a younger player, and older players, absolutely, when you get set in your ways. And I think Ware do great there with the structure. Anybody that played in Miami, I feel like if you were quote unquote decent, or even if you weren't doing that good, or even you did great, you do well in other organizations. If it's just that you may not be just connected to our system, you may have the hard work. That's how a lot of these guys end up in a cycle where you see they may have the hard work, the motor. Looking at Derek Jones, Derek Jones. I think it is Derek Jones. He played for Dallas. He also played for the Suns at one point, and I feel like he's also somebody that he played in our system for a while, and then he went back out and he ended up with Dallas, and now he got a big contract. I think it's just if he works out, he's gonna work out, and I feel like he's gonna be a great key contributor. talking about really somebody that made a big impact, looked good, but he's on a team that's kind of got too much young talent. And I'm talking about Reed Shepard, the guard from Houston Rockets. He still had made a lot of big impact on defense, playmaking, willingness to make extra passes. He improved driving ability. His jump shot strikes fear in his opponents. You can tell. He opens up the field for everybody else. He has very good decisive passing. He read the situation well. If you're not looking at Dillingham, a lot of people are looking at Reed Shepard as being that guy. I personally see him being somebody that, he can be a JJ Redick. He can be Grayson Allen. I feel like he has the ability to be that guy that can, even though Grayson Allen can get there. He's an athletic guard. Like, he'll get there on you. But I feel like Reed is somebody that can decisively be a really good player. Like, without anything being, like, taken away from him. I feel like Reed is somebody that can shoot, put the ball on the floor, great hooper, somebody you can just know for a fact, like, is a great player, just on and off the court. I just think he may be in a bad situation being a Rocket than anybody else. So, shoots the ball, elite level, great player, very good, fits along. He's a talented core guy. I think that's just one thing he just has that's just beyond anything. I feel like he fits the play. He's a great player. I feel like it's overall going to be a great just situation where he can actually just contribute to this team. But where is he going to fit? I don't know. But I do see he has an upside where he can probably be Rookie of the Year, or he'll probably end up somewhere else where he can actually be a better contribution to a team and will probably be a future veteran that can help a team get a championship. So from there, we're going to talk about my possible struggling players that's going to transition. I'm just going to say this, straight up. It's not a huge list. Gerard McCain, all right? It's not a personal vendetta. He had a little TikTok challenge. He did a little TikTok dance. He got a little TikTok, all that woo-woo. I think he ain't going to do good, all right, playing with the 76ers. Why I say that he's going to struggle is because the one thing that he's going to struggle with is boom, 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 playing time. Paul George is a hard person to kind of, eat a young man's meal before he can actually get there. Paul George came to some places where some great talent has come in, and younger talent. We could talk about the Clippers, where people were supposed to get developed. And I don't think Philly's a great developing place right now, especially for a young guy like Gerard. Gerard got a lot of different shit going on. I think he can develop his own skill. I think he can develop a level of being a very good forward. I ain't gonna say very good forward. I'm gonna say a decent forward who may be able to accumulate some years and spend a great bit of it in the G League. I don't see him being a great contribution. A lot of people love his efficiency. I didn't see nothing that made me be like, it was kind of like, I seen a couple people that, like, have that and they're struggling to kind of like get on the floor right now. So not too sold on them. Right now, I'm going to have to double it up. The two Frenchmen that everybody hyped up, the 1 and the 2. All right? Alex Sars, Zacharias, and Richards, whatever his name is, the Frenchman, trash. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna break them down individually. I gotta analyze the ability of what I'm looking at. But trash. They're not ready. They're not ready. They're not gonna be ready. They think Victor Wembanyama ready. I think Victor Wembanyama is only ready based on the fact the NBA already want him to be ready. Personally, the NBA's business. I don't ever disregard that. They're a business. They are a business, and a business will do things in business interest, not based on entertainment. Okay? Now, when it become WWE, we don't know. You never know when the script is being written, and you don't know when the script is not being written. We all like to argue when the script is being written, when the scripts ain't being written. I personally say this script they're trying to write for the Frenchman is not going to work, because you got to remember, there's another Frenchman that was drafted with Victor Wembanyama, who came out that same draft that the Wizards had drafted. Now, his teammate, the younger dude, he looked okay. Victor is 7'6". If he wasn't good, they would have chopped this man's legs off and made him to chicken soup by now. He had to be something decent, something. Do I think longevity gonna come with it? We don't know. That's a very big body. Gravity is real. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna go off Zachary. He's a lot better. I know I'm killing his name. I feel like he's a lot better. He displays a lot better feel defensively, just being in those holes, being that number one pick. But, other than the fact he don't take no risk, which, some league, I don't care about turnovers. Man got 10 turnovers and I'd be like, okay, he took risks, cool. Or he made a whole bunch of fouls, he took risks, cool. It's your time to take risks. Try anything, everything out. This is not your time to. You just came to America. I don't care if this man went through the legs and one TV show over somebody's head, try to dunk on somebody. It's not that serious in summer league, especially when you're the first and second pick. We just want to see if you can actually hoop. He didn't show he could hoop. He showed the fact that he was able to move around on defense, and I don't think the thing that they got him there for was not the fact that he don't turn the ball over. It's the fact that he can shoot, and that's what we want, his strengths, and he didn't look that good at it. He didn't look good at shooting, and that's going to be the problem. And especially for Atlanta, that's going to be a problem for them to actually stay in contention, because they're rebuilding, and I think Trae Young bought out the city himself. So, I don't know. They can't get the wee man the keys yet. So, this was a very weak draft. In the first place, this draft was very hard to determine the number one. Also, I forgot to add, Zach Edey is in my possible MVP race, playing with Ja Morant. And I think Ja's going to make him look really, really good. So then you look at Alex Sars, Washington Wizards. That man finished with 0 points for 15 shots in a loss against Portland. And yeah, you don't shoot fit. You don't. He got to the hole, did all that. You ain't listen. And he finished off this summer league overall. His shooting field goal percentage was 9 of 47. They say he's a great defender, but I'm not looking for nobody from 1, 2, and 3 to be a role player, bro. This man's a role player. They taught this man up. They was gonna get SARS. SARS sat there and told the Wizards, nah, I ain't gonna go for that and all that. I don't blame them. Their organization's not that good. They're not good at organizing their players, so they got some issues. So when we look at Alex SARS, like, he in trouble, dog. They barely developed a little Frenchman. I want to see. They ain't even let him. I don't even heard about him. I ain't even gonna lie. He probably had an eye when I ain't watched too much of him. I'll be personal with it. I think he might be playing for the national team, just because how bad it is for being a Wizard. It's not good. So, SARS is trash. I ain't got nothing to say. The man, they say he got good defense. The man like 7-something. Now, I'm assuming both these 7-something should be really good on defense, but he's not doing that good. So, historically, he's not doing wonderful. A lot of people will love him and be like, oh, well, what about Bronny James? You don't think he didn't have a struggle? Bronny James literally did not play that much basketball. Went to USC with being rusty. Still trying to figure out a system at USC. And then we're going to go from there to the fact that we're looking at the Lakers, who they got a new assistant coach, new coach, knew a lot of different people, and you're trying to get your rhythm. People are trying to get their system right, and it's a lot of we don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna see what can happen situations, and I think that for Bronny it still works in his favor, but it also made it a situation where you're trying to get a rhythm around certain guys, being a guy that's a second rounder, but also a guy that's trying to contribute. So you don't know. At the end of the day, I looked at this and acknowledged that some of these people that I named, I'm not pro Prince Wee Wee, but I think there's gonna be some situations where these guys are gonna end up being pushed to their limit in this league, and it could be good, it could be bad. But I personally think it's gonna be something that's gonna be a little harder for them to transition personally, for them to get to the next level. And I think that is going to be the problem. Even Victor Wembanyama, he has a lot of fucking help to be good. So we're going to see what happens. I'll be discussing Team USA, 5-0 record. Should we be worried about their play? And then we're going to dabble in a little bit about Give It Arenas. So we about to slide into the next topic. You're all right. When we out here with Team USA, 5-0 record, should we be worried about their play in the exhibition? So I don't keep the P. I think the biggest thing that we even gonna keep talking about this expedition, or if you're not covering enough of the Olympics, of what's going on with basketball and how LeBron James and sat here and called the quote unquote the Avengers. They ain't got Kyrie, but we ain't gonna say nothing else about that. Sitting there looking at this situation and understanding that the 5-0 record, who they played, Australia, I'm gonna mess up that name, South Sudan, I think it was. I should have this statistic in front of me, but I'm freely looking at it. Germany and Canada, and I might be messing up the African country. I think it is like South Sudan or something like that, or Saudi Arabia. Not Saudi Arabia, it's like Sudan. I'm gonna stick to it. So they ended up, playing, and these 5 games, you're looking at this situation where they're actually like competing and putting out, a good bunch without KD now. Our non-bristle using friend is still injured. His other friend that had the funny knee, Kawhi, the haha man, went home. Kawhi came there with that little suitcase. We seen him. He wasn't gonna be there long. I seen that little suitcase he had. That man was traveling real light. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. He was moving real light. So with that being said, his replacement being Derek White, whatever he is, like whatever that man just sitting on the bench, whoever is he gonna replace Anthony Edwards? I think not. That ain't gonna happen. He ain't gonna really fill in that well. But hey, it's the U.S. It's their world. It ain't ours. So we went on, and we're looking at the expedition of that first game going against Canada, right? DeJounte Murray, who arguably he does well with Joker, and Joker doesn't do well without him. He doesn't do well without Joker, so they kind of look a little, they need each other very much. They need each other, not like Curry and Clay, but they really need each other. So, we're looking at this team and effectively how that first game went when I was watching it. Them getting each other's, fundamentals down, and getting these good little plays, the jumble up, and the high speed, and how they're attacking and what they're attacking. We're looking at this from the biggest scope. And as we're looking at this from the bigger scope, you're like, okay, they kind of, Canada kind of sticking with them, and RJ, and the boys kind of, getting their shots up. It's their first game. All right, so in the second game, they're like, okay, they making some moves. They got Australia. Australia, got them boys. Australia, I ain't gonna lie, Australia ain't even get their best product to me personally. Australia got so many people like RJ Hampton, I think, ain't he from Australia? Him, Ben could have pulled up. Ben ain't got nothing else to do. Ben could have pulled up, showed out. They be talking about he can't hoop. If I was Ben, I don't know that Australia, but I think he said something to Australia. When I think about it, I think him and Australia got into it. I think he didn't want to pull up. I think he was tweaking out on them boys real quick too. After he offended his own country at that point. So yeah, they came through. Them boys, shooting how they were shooting. They were putting out them jumpers like they weren't playing. Then you look at Germany. Germany. You know, that was the reason why the Avengers assembled, quote unquote, because you know Dennis Schroeder and them boys were no lax, and they were busting them threes. You know, especially Titus, Dice or whatever his name is. He used to play for the Celtics. That boy was shooting them buckets. He was out there getting them a game to have to play. And then you look at South Sudan, and then the play of how they put them to the edge, and you know, forced them to try to compete. You know, LeBron out here for sure had to show out every single one of these games. Those are the ones I particularly watched. I know I'm missing one, but I briefly like to speak on this Team USA exhibition, because I'm not going all deep in those statistics, because they ain't gonna matter. Biggest thing to me is how they look, and what they doing personally isn't just the thing that makes me think of their statistics. I think the biggest thing that makes me think of what's going on with them is their level of actual play together, and how that's being proficient. You know, Joel Embiid still getting the hang of it. AD, AD, AD. If I'm a Laker fan, AD got me feeling like that meme with Will Smith and Mark Lawrence. I should add in the clickbait with it. I don't feel like getting it took down either, but I ain't gonna get this taken down, because I would use the clickbait of, next time you hooping like this in your Team USA, that's how you hoop. AD, he better hoop like how he hooping right now for Team USA when it come that season. If this man, I quote, 35, 15, 5 is not his stat come next year, and he's not playing 68 games next season, I'm not, like I said, not 65, not 56, not 55. I ain't even say he got to go beyond 68. If he don't hoop them 68 games, averaging 35, 15, and 5, y'all Laker fans need to shoot that man. Y'all need to shoot his car up. I'm not asking y'all to threaten this man, but that man needs to be gone. He playing with y'all. This man that took too much money. This is highway robbery. This man is O.J. Simpson in the Bronco right now. He is not. He's playing with y'all. He got y'all money. He rolled off and went out there in Team USA. I know LeBron probably sitting there looking like, bruh, I was tired yesterday. Last week. Why am I carrying this team like I'm carrying that team last year? Why? Got Austin Reeves, poor little tink. He out here all being isolated because Boogie Head, you know, before they found whatever his name was, Ham. You know, he Ham with that little piece of dirt on it. Yeah, he had that head with that little meat piece on it. Yeah, that little piece look like that ground beef that fall right behind the stove. Crap myself up, man. That ground beef that's stuck behind the stove, bro. You gotta sweep that out. That bit all crinkled looking. Yeah, that's what he had. He was out there picking on Austin Reeves, and I think Austin Reeves should have definitely been a consideration instead of Derek White. But we ain't gonna be no pickers. We just saying they doing this based on the fact of the best talent and who won the game. Derek White was not that good. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Jason Tatum was not that good either. All right, Jason Tatum followed Brown. They didn't bring Brown. Why they didn't bring Brown? Who's the number one best player on the Celtics? Not Tatum. Tatum has been trained by Kobe, Paul Pierce. Got a little bit of tours from Braun. Got some toolers from a whole bunch of Hall of Famers, right? And the man still can't do nothing in the playoffs. And then in Team USA, he's one of the few selections. They want Tatum to be out there for Boston because he, like I said, you heard from episode 1, mellow, yellow, and that's all I'm going to say. Jaylen Brown said something about the Wall Street, and I can't even say the B word, Wall Street, because you know they might take it off, might take me off here based on Wall Street. And he said that and went out there and supported that boy Ice Cube with Big 3. Nah, that's another reason why I'm not too much of a fan of the U.S. team. I don't care if they win gold or not. Personally, I do like Bron. I think Bron might pull it out because Bron out here, 40 years old, still main contributors on a team of Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, AD, let me continue. Drew Holiday is on that team, which I think Drew Holiday is one of the best role players in the sense of just the mentality. I ain't even talking about skill. Drew Holiday is a superstar, all-star. I'm not gonna say superstar, all-star talent. We're talking about Donovan Mitchell, you know, Zach LaVine, um, Garvin, I think it is Garland out there in Cleveland. Those guys. I know I'm missing somebody, a couple other people, just them all stars. They're not superstars. These ain't guys that I'm talking about. I'll get this man the ball and he gonna take me to the promised land. I'm no disrespect, Jimmy Butler too. So Bam looks great, but Drew different because Drew know he can switch to any role. Drew will sit there and he give 30-12 with eight steals, or he can sit there and give you 5 blocks, 8 points, 8 rebounds. Drew one of them. He one of them. Drew by far is a first ballot Hall of Famer off of just his ability that he sacrificed. He sacrificed. You gotta remember Drew. If you don't remember, you're not familiar with his game and where he's from. He started out in Philly. He ended up out there in New Orleans, supposed to be helping out AD. He was out there with New Orleans, helping AD. He supposed to be like this guard help. He ended up being transitioned to the 2, and there was a lot of other people run guard. He was out there with Rondo. He was out there having a whole lot of stuff going on. And then eventually New Orleans was like, Drew's just in, and they really thought he was washed. Then Drew ends up out there in Milwaukee, blows up to be one of the best transition defensive players, anchor, revitalizes his career. He's playing out there with Giannis, helps Giannis get a ring. We're not going to sit here and act like Chris Middleton was the one that helped him. Drew's the one that really was the pinnacle of that. Then after they fire their coach, some things go weird. They trying to move him, thinking it's the end of him. He ends up somewhere out in Cleveland, gets a buyout out of Cleveland, ends up out there in Boston for a quick little penny, little move, shake, and now 2-time champion, bro. He's one of them. I can't deny this man his talent. He's one of them. He's one of those people that is a glue piece, and he's a great addition to this Team USA game. Like I dabble onto Bam, who's just a very good forward center. He got that ability. He's all Alonzo Mourning. I'm a Heat fan. He's Alonzo Mourning. He's that pinnacle guy that I feel like can move from 4 to 5 and just like bounce. He really does great at the 4 to me personally than the 5. He's not that much wanting to bang. He's very much a very good face-up guy now. He has the handle. He can put you in a little spot. He got a little post. He got a midi. He's one of them. He is one of those guys. I'm not going to dabble on everybody that's on that bench. I ain't going to sit there and talk about Devin Booker and everybody. I think everybody just plays their part. I think Devin Booker's still trying to get a hold of himself and understanding, he's not Kobe and Jason Tatum's not Kobe. Because Tatum's never going to be Kobe. Tatum is just a great brand look for which, coming off of Steph Curry, still being in line with LeBron. Like if LeBron would have left 5 years ago, Steph Curry would have been way, way, way bigger now. I personally tell you that. I think LeBron has eclipsed Curry in the sense of his growth. He's capped him in the sense of where Curry is that guy. But in reality, if you know ball, Curry is really good based on the system of this current NBA. Braun is a generational talent, and quote, same thing as Zion. So personally, looking at this Team USA team, I think they're playing really good. They're an older team with some younger pieces, and like I said, glue pieces as well. They thinking Derek White's one of those glue pieces. I don't agree in that, but when we're looking at this team and looking at the overall history of how Team USA has been put together, this is a very collectively really good team and can be a contender for a very strong Europeans of Jokic and going against Giannis and Luka, and Luka gonna be nasty, like violent killer. Looking at the complete team of the complete team of Canada. And don't sleep on Puerto Rico. Don't sleep on Puerto Rico, bro. They got they magic guy. They think they gonna do with the guard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Puerto Rico, they're gonna try to do the wild thing in my Cameron voice. They're gonna try to do the wild thing. But do I think they sleepers? They can't. I think they will sneak up on you because you think they too small and they not small. They spirit, they mighty, and then you also got to think about, Bahamas. I don't think they qualified. I think Bahamas qualified. I'm not sure. I got to check up on more on that, but I'm not scared of the exhibition games. You know what I'm saying? Like those games were the same amount of meaning as Summer League in some aspects. I think the way they put this team together, and looking at the committee for the Team USA, looking at the Nike situation and all that, it's too political for me personally. I feel like it's not about ball. I think it's very like, and I also think they're really trying to not what's the word, irritate certain people with this kind of, because right now it's a lot going on in the world and there's a lot going on in our country, and I think it's a lot that can go wrong too, based on the imagery of who and what. They've been worrying about this since Dream Team 92. So they've been kind of, let's not try to tread too bad on the water. The best team they had, where they felt like they was like, oh, we're not gonna have to worry about it. We're not gonna be too scared. It's worst case scenario. What's that 2018? That we believe team. We believe team that the promised land team with LeBron and Kobe, Wade and Bosh and Carmelo. Those guys. That I think that's the last group they had that was kind of like, quote unquote, clean. You know what I'm saying? They were a clean team. They wasn't really like no, what's the word? Quote unquote, a team that really was like pushing the envelope. Kobe being a Nike athlete, Jordan being Jordan, LeBron being a Jordan Nike or athlete, Bosh, and you're looking at Wade and Carmelo. Like these guys were brand guys. They didn't have nothing like this ever. I think the best brand guys we're gonna think of is a decline, broken back Larry Bird. No offense, Larry was broken down. Magic Johnson, who did have that ninja. During that time, he was around that piece, dribbling with the Ice Spice. He was dribbling around with the Ice Spice, and he was, when he shook his hand, you probably didn't last too long. Terrible joke, but really, he had it on him. You can't tell me otherwise. And then you got Jordan. After that, you really looking at like, okay, David Robinson, Charles Barkley, like, okay, like that supposed to really, Clyde Drexler, like they didn't have nobody else out there on that. That was only three like really like major. They had some great names. I ain't gonna disrespect John Stockton. They had to have a white boy in the squad. No offense to them people. They had to keep that representation that they can still hoop. They still trying to figure out how to put that on, the other teams, and they ain't working. All they could do is get a light skin. It's like, we gotta have a light skin now. Like, we ain't hooping out no light skin. Like, you ain't gonna see a Team USA team where it's a whole bunch of darkies. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. They ain't going like that. So, I think this is the best looking team. I think the world has gotten better. We've wanted them to get better. I don't think anybody wants to, especially NBA, they want to inherently increase their business interests. So if they wanted the Team USA to blow people out, they should have stopped Team USA from doing basketball beyond borders and all that junk, because we wouldn't have to worry about, so many European players being so much of a threat if he wasn't funding them. They funded them. They built courts. They gave people basketballs. They gave people shoes. They did camps. They want these people to get better so they can get better talent into their league so they can develop more money. It's not an American interest. It's a business. It's not they own a business, not anything else. So we gotta respect that. But where they're having these battles, especially looking at South Sudan and, how those guys are pretty much playing, and, their contribution to just the overall roster and how they really just be hooping. And you just look at how good they really are. You start seeing things kind of like being transcended. And you looking at like even that team like having so many different like games and having these different people like they win against. You really start seeing things for like what it is, and you know who's what, and you then also see like uh the different uh talent that even in the summer league that they actually had, and how certain people were kind of a lot more, what can I say, more talented than what they thought they were going to be. Like, I think they really thought some of these people you're going to be, uh, low and not able to hoop. That South Sudan team, they really didn't think them boys was really going to be that. But they got some real hoopers, bro. They got real, and I had to clarify South Sudan. You know, you talking about JT Thors, somebody that people didn't think he was going to be that much, and he can't get out of G League. And you looking at, you know, that one guard who, he's sitting there stuck in G League. They got a whole bunch of these people that was on that South Sudan team. Wayne Gabriel, he can't find his way to get on a team. So I'm starting to see like some things with even this going on, like how the game is kind of inadvertently kind of like commercial. I'm starting to see more commercial stuff because some of these people that they talk about, like the excuse, they be like, well, these people play for their country and they play way more harder. I don't know about that, buddy. I'm starting to think it's not that these people play more harder. I just think most of these people kind of get an opportunity to actually hoop in a system. Because I think, sometimes people get caught up in the system, excuse me, and they don't never get the opportunity to actually like get to show their talent. So I think that's just the biggest thing that ended up being an issue. And that was their closest game to which they had a lot of close games, but LeBron James driving to the hole and scoring two to help you win is in 2024 is diabolical. But I want to touch on South Sudan, and I want to touch on a comment from Gilbert Arenas talking about Team USA, but more importantly, I want to address the comment that he made, particularly involving the level of what I'm, what I'm saying, like what his consideration of South Sudan and what he felt about their overall talent. So, I pretty much from a quote I seen that, Gilbert Arenas had, put out, or what he was commenting. He said, males almost lost to some Africans. We almost lost to the blank, had to save us. He had to save us. I know LeBron James haters are mad. We're almost lost to a aha try. This is crazy, man. Embiid over here throwing the game for his cousins and shit. We're not supposed to be losing to them. Come on, man. Cool runnings. We not supposed to lose to some cool runnings team. They don't even have shoes. They get shoes from America. We have to ship their shoes. We losing to people who are shooting on peach baskets in dirt and no shoes. So, he pretty much used an African slur referring to him. And I'm not familiar with the slur. I couldn't even repeat it. And it's just, the thing is that gets me with it is, as I'm sitting here and I'm studying and looking at these different like parts of this statement, I had to really acknowledge that his comments, if you don't know Gil, and kind of just understanding, his personal opinions, and sometimes, the man be with coonery. At the end of the day, he ended up getting he broke into the top 10 or top 5. I think he's top 5 in sports in certain podcasting spaces. And then I think he's in that top 10. I may be mistaken, but he's been, very vocal, and sometimes his opinions come off a little, Americanized, ignorant, valley. He come from a certain environment. Gil is not somebody that quote unquote comes from a environment of the hood. He didn't come from an environment where he's actually struggling a lot. He didn't come from an environment where he was like, hey man, like I'm just going. He was battling like Dame Leonard. Like he if he go on the wrong bus stop in the wrong area, he might have to foot the boot, or he wasn't no affiliate. Like he wasn't moving like that. He's a Cali Hooper that really grew up like in a very controlled environment. So you got to also look at that perspective that Gil is not somebody that you can truly not say take serious, but also acknowledge in the fact of the man is kind of like Lil Yachty when Lil Yachty car got pulled by Charleston White about the situation. If you didn't hear about, is it possible for younger black kids to get the resources to allow them to survive in certain environments and be able to make money, and know how to make money, and that epitome is just the same thing as what you look at Gil, in the sense of he will think of things in the sense of not the means of where children are actually being, he's not here to protect children, but kind of in the sense where he's kind of like, he gets so caught up in the moment trying to not say quote unquote troll people. He's just quote unquote has sometimes a blinder on, or he has sometimes be in a situation where he may know better, won't do better, because the fact of the matter is he knows a certain way in which he's making the money, he's doing what he's doing, is he's trying to do a lot of things in the back area. It's like a Floyd Mayweather situation. Floyd can have comments where you're like, I'm not too caring for that, but you can also look at the situations where it's the things that when he sometimes needs to, he be talking, and his actions may be a lot louder than him talking. So for example, the things he may be doing in communities, the things he may be doing that we may not be seeing is very low, and the thing that which he pushing so much negative is so high in vibration. So with the situation with that Team USA and how he felt about it, in the situation with South Sudan and how he tried to describe these people, it was like he didn't really see the human level of not just the color of the people or just the fact of the culture of the people. He was just looking at the fact he didn't even look at the really, I'm just saying he didn't look at even the fact of their skill level. Like these are NBA players. Like these guys aren't trash. Like, Wayne played with LeBron, so he should know LeBron. The guard, I think he dabbled around. He knows a couple of the players. He's been around them. He's seen them practice. A lot of these people that they're trying to quote unquote say they didn't have this and that, these people have, sparred against these guys, been teammates with some of these guys, and you can kind of easily get in a place where you're like, oh, well, they should never, this game should be closed. These are still NBA. These are professionals. These are not those guys like the back in '92. Some of them guys that Jordan and them were hooping against were niggas who worked at the deli. I ain't trying to be disrespectful. They were, when people want to talk about what today player played great against, where they demolished the players from the 50s, 60s. Look at USA basketball from '92 up to when they decided, oh, nah, y'all ain't gonna keep picking on us. Like, them people got tired of getting Harlem Globetrotter teabagged, and then people putting your pants down and laughing at you. Then people had families to go home to. Some of the people they had a good time signing autographs, and some of the people, they had egos. They really believed they were good. Look at how they did Kukoc. They knew, Pippen them knew that man was being scouted by the Chicago Bulls. They bullied him. They straight mocked him. They had to do something to him. They showed him he wasn't nothing. But then next time he came back better and stronger, and he showed he wasn't no punk, and he became a bull. He became a champion. So you see how that people can sometimes, or Gil, can sometimes take it in so many different ways, clickbait to a level where other people may look at it as the self-deprecation of it. They may look at the self-deprecation of it in the sense of his own image being tarnished, especially as a black man. But you also got to understand, a lot of people try to take this pro-black behavior in the sense of what his decision on Africans and how he felt about it, and how he personally described the level of their skill and disrespected them, and kind of took it as a general, oh, American diss. And it wasn't an American diss to Africa. It's a reality of what the perception and image that we are shown. You got to understand, there's Africans we meet, we are come from Africa. Some of us come from different areas and have African DNA in it, but that doesn't change the fact of the perception of what a lot of people don't understand is what really dictates how we really see each other and really like decide what we're gonna do. And I think that really is the key factor in which a lot of people don't really pay attention with Gil's assessment. His assessment is truly drawn on the fact of he's seeing it from a point of view of what he's been shown and what his reality is. And us trying to demonize his reality, not the fact of it just based on something racial. It's not on nothing racial. He's talking about the fact that what he identifies, and most people identify Sudan and most of these places is dirty places of dirt, poverty, hardship, third world country behavior. And people will sit here and be like, well, no, us black people, we're all unite. We do together. You unite. We can be all that and that. But you got to understand, we all have different tribes, and that's a whole different story. And that's the reason why Africa is in a country that is of one name in one country. Africa is a country full of multiple names in different countries. It's just what it is. It's the United States of America. There's Canada and there's Mexico. You know what I'm saying? You got China, you ain't got Beijing, and you ain't got wherever else going. You got Japan. Japan doesn't separate into separate places. So the thing is, when we think about the whole identity of how to even unify black people, if you really thinking we're all together, we all aren't together, because you can look at clearly when you look at your map of anything and everything, we all represent from East. And even when you think about black people, just even from a sense of just to go on a little dabble in the sense of just looking at this perspective off of a sports tip, we have an East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, and South perspectives of black people. Black people from the South are not like black people in the North. Black people from the North ain't people like black people from the South, from the West Coast, and people from the Midwest ain't like the people from the South. So overall, we have similar ways. We come from similar cultures somewhat. We may all love hip hop, but we all have different formats in which how we express ourselves and how our tribes all identify. So I think that's overall us looking at Gilbert's ignorant opinion, which was ignorant. I have nothing against that. That man was totally, completely, honorably wrong. But me knowing Gilbert and seeing Gilbert's work, not knowing Gilbert, but seeing his work, I can see the good in Gilbert and what he struggles on, in a sense when he actually has a strong opinion, and he's genuinely in a positive space on it. And he doesn't. He'll skim over it. But if he wants clickbait and he wants to get them views up and he get people upset and he get people to talk about you and get the streets running, you gotta understand cancel culture in the sense of what his epitome of his work and what he's doing is intensifying the look on Team USA, and it also is unified with a lot of people's perspective in certain ways, even if we don't like that. So it's still a point of view, it's still an outlook, and it's still something that is actually true because people do feel that way, and it's just unfortunate. So like I said, I think that's just kind of how we're going to draw it in and get a connection to end it all off. Personally, I think with us kind of looking at it and acknowledging, our power and looking at what's going on with Team USA, hopefully we bring home that gold. Unfortunate, certain people weren't to be a part of that based on politics. Unfortunately, Gilbert Arenas' comments were not very appropriate. So we just gotta deal with those things at time to be done and how it should be handled, and move accordingly based on how we personally feel about ourselves and how we personally feel about certain behaviors of other people. So that's just my 2 cents and my perspective on how I'm feeling about Team USA. So this is the Barrel City Podcast presented by Beauty Boo Productions. We doing it, we got it, we moving, we progressing, we changing. Your boy gonna be going on for a little slight vacation. I know I just got this rolling, but I got some more pieces, more content to put out. I got different things to get up. I got some secret things in the work. I'm trying to work on some. I'm gonna work on some formats. I'm never gonna keep it just like this. The me and you, we're gonna keep that. But we gonna have to, we gonna have to, extend our hand. Father, reach my hand. Little Kanye energy. So we're gonna do what we're gonna do. I'm blessed. You blessed. I pray for you. You do your thing. I do my thing. We do the chicken wing. Boo woo. Do the woo woo and hit that woo woo. You're joking my ass off. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a wonderful Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And when I come back on here, I'm gonna let y'all know. If you follow me on any of my social medias, you will definitely hear. From the Barrel City Podcast Instagram, you will know. From the Barrel City TikTok, you shall know. From the Bibbidi Boop Productions with the Z at the end to the S is clarified, and I get that cleared. Send me a message. You will know. I'll be posting. I'll be letting people know when a new episode will be releasing when it come after these 2 weeks. But I thank you all again. Y'all have y'all a wonderful time. Y'all be safe out there. I love y'all. Jesus babies. You're